Hey, welcome to part 5 of the God of War commentary, ladies and gentlemen, and we're once again continuing our little strut through Athens as we attempt to rescue the Oracle from the works of
So,
these harpies creatures.
so does jumping up the stairs like that give you a speed advantage, or does Kratos just not know how to use stairs?
Sure.
More
Uh,
like they're actually just inclines.
Oh yeah, this is Chris doesn't realistically step on any stairs, they're all flat inclines.
yeah.
Like, wasn't that like the longest, it wasn't the case for the longest time with games of this generation? Like, stairs are never really
Well,
stairs,
here's
they
the
were just
thing. Okay,
inclines.
there is one game that I can recall off the top of my head from the PS2 era that had actual stairs with steps on them. Um, and it was Primal. An action adventure game, or maybe just an adventure game on the PS2 that I haven't played much of. I have the PS2 Classics copy on the PS4. Um, and whenever you walked upstairs, on the rare occasion that there actually were man-made stairs to walk up, the camera would jitter along with your character model as you popped up every individual step on the staircase. It's very, very off-putting.
It's still
Um,
better. I'd still say that's better than games like Paper Mario, when wherever there's a staircase, you have to physically jump up
jump
each
up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but apart from that, you have stuff like the Resident Evil remake and Resident Evil 3, where the stairs were programmed to have individual steps, but you could still freely walk up and down them. Not in the automated way that previous Resident Evils did, mind you. One of the technically impressive things about Resident Evil 3, which Code Veronica mysteriously dropped, was the ability to move around freely on stairs, and your character would move their feet realistically as they went up the steps, which is, believe it or not, was a pretty technically impressive thing for the PlayStation 1 days. Um, the, the result was that it felt pretty goddamn organic without restricting you to a railroad track.
Now, I don't know why grabbing the statues to block up those harpy holes causes the AI of the harpies to go kind of bug nuts. You noticed I didn't get attacked once while grabbing and pushing those statues. I'm grateful for it because it's the last thing I need is getting interrupted while pushing something in this game. But it's really weird. The harpies will do their diving attack, but they'll hit each other and not so much Kratos. And to this day, I still can't determine if that was deliberate or just something that happens.
The fabled Prince of Persia platforming railroad, where pieces of a seemingly open and multi-directional platforming challenge will fall off as you progress before you get to them.
Yeah, I didn't have to think at all. Yeah, but we're falling down and jumping up with these multiple times. There's multiple things to get.
Ah, man, those fixed camera angle platforming challenges. Love them. That was sarcasm. I hate them. They're terrible.
Ooh, close.
I meant to do that.
Camera.
Sure you did.
Yeah, it's a pretty look good as you can get there. But I don't serious, no, we have to get moving. We still have some things to do here in Athens because we're going all about this place. In fact, we're going down below, if you know what I mean, pretty soon. I don't mean Hades.
Is Athens
Australia?
Is Athens the entire main setting of this game?
No,
No.
Athens is the first third of God of War.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, does this game stick to one setting? Because I don't know. I seem to remember God of War 2 trying to be a little bit more of a, well, I don't want to say globe-trotting, but grease-trotting, I guess. That's a weird, that's a weird phrase. A bit more epic in its geographical scope. But then, God of War 2 was also the game that started with you being flung through the air into the roof of a bathhouse, whereupon Kratos actually took a break in the middle of a war to bone two women in a hot tub, and then proceeded on his rampage of carnage through the city. Which, if anything, is a more consistent narrative angle for Kratos in that game than this game portrayed him. So I guess you did it. You finally did it.
Kratos, you must prove your worth by pushing stuff again.
Very convenient that the statue has handlebars for exactly this function.
Turns out that architects in Greece just really didn't feel like getting slaves to do this, so they decided to make it easier for the workers.
So I have to hurry. So what you're saying is I can go to the gold saucer now.
Kratos would probably do that.
This is I mean, there are a handful of examples with in-game models in here, but I always hated how the Oracle looked.
Yeah, she kind of looks like a slightly
Made of
more.
Play-Doh.
She's a Barbie doll.
She kind of looks like the way her model joints connect together. She kind of looks like a PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn model that's just been touched up a bit.
Yeah, like Dreamcast smoothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean by Barbie doll. I was more talking about how you can clearly see the joint, and I was like, God.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to specify that when you say Barbie doll, because there's a lot of separate connotations
no, she has
that
nipples.
come with that.
Yeah,
Barbie the
nipples.
Oracle. Help
Oracle
Kratos
Barbie.
on his rampage of revenge. I'm not wearing a top. New from Mattel.
You know, when I first brought these pillars down here, my thought was, what, am I supposed to position these beneath the Oracle so she can drop
That's
down?
what I thought.
No, it's just a stepping stone. It's a very elaborate stepping stone for one jump.
She's got damn good grip strength, though. She can hang on through this entire goddamn.
How about I
platform.
just stand underneath you and I
What,
catch
you
you when
saying
you
that?
fall?
As soon as it happens, though, now we will get a time limit. Because now she starts slipping.
You must get here quickly.
That's
Why can't Kratos just stand underneath the rope and let her drop to him?
Must hurry.
No. You see, we can only have so much physics-defying shit in this game, all right? We're already stretching with the double jump.
Can't we push one of the
not-
pillars
it's not
underneath
that
her
far.
and then do like a double jump swingy attack and then go up high enough to
It's
get
God
her?
of War Ted, not Tony Hawk Pro Skater Omega.
I'd play that if Kratos was in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
God damn it, these water wheels. By the way, Prince of Persia platforming does not work when you are not as heavily scripted in your actions as Prince of Persia has you moving. Because in Prince of Persia, your jumping arc and what happens when you jump from a specific place to another specific place are pretty heavily controlled, and that helps keep the flow going. Whereas Kratos just sort of moon floats everywhere, and that causes sequences like this one to be incredibly janky. Like
Oh, you actually walk across that? I just double jump over it.
yeah, yeah, double jumping is.
Thing is, falling off of here doesn't necessarily cause Kratos to die, but the
you're out
timer
of time,
will
yeah.
immediately stop and the Oracle will fall to her death.
Yep, now pre-rendered all of a sudden.
And with that act,
Not just pre-render, but CGI for that one jump.
Well, now too.
And you could, yeah.
You were just wearing green earlier.
Yeah, okay, so we've gone CG. Okay. I strongly suspect that this might be entirely because the Oracle's model has the nipples poking out, and they wanted to make sure you got a good look at that.
Backstory.
Now we're getting
Actually, now
backstory
that I
from
think about it,
Kratos.
I think like 1/3 of this game's cumulative CGI FMVs are concerned with naked women.
Yeah, by next, I'll introduce us to part nipple after this part.
And that might be a conservative estimate.
His wife was the only one to brave his fury.
how much is enough, Kratos? When will it end?
When the glory of Sparta is known throughout the world.
Now you see, this is how you
How
know.
long is that gonna take?
This is how you know Kratos isn't a true Spartan, because you know that dude from what was it, 300? He listened to his
Leonidas.
wife. He even checked with her before kicking the guy into the hole.
By the gods,
I don't remember Leonidas wearing a cow costume, though.
Stay out of my
It'd be a
head.
very different movie.
Choose
Tough.
your enemies wisely, Kratos. Your brute strength alone will not be enough to destroy Ares.
So Kratos was a warrior of Sparta,
Only one
the general of a
item
Spartan
alone
army.
will allow you to defeat a god.
and then I don't know,
Pandora's
her wife's eyes
Lies
bled.
far beyond the walls of
And it's
Athens.
bad. Still a little foggy on the backstory here, and they decided to split it up into separate parts.
But be warned, Kratos. Many have.
I honestly don't know why they take as long to tell us like the truth of Kratos' backstory as long as they did, because it's not like it's a secret.
Well, it's because the game doesn't really have much in terms of actual plot, so they had to space out some of Kratos' backstory to fill time. And I'm not even saying that to be sarcastic. That is actually a pretty common
it's
narrative
like,
thing in video games.
This is
where,
Kratos. Do you want to learn more about Kratos? Well, play this level right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Kratos was a general of the Spartan army. Do you want to know what else he did? Yes, I can play this level.
Yeah, it's a common narrative thing in video games that have very simple plots. Is that there's exposition that you could very easily and very simply dump all at once without even spending much time on it. But you kind of want to the story stretches it out so that although the plot is insubstantial, the story itself fills a certain amount of time, you know. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Even that can be done well. This game does not do it well.
No, it's not organic at all.
Case in point, like, speaking of that dissonance thing I keep bringing up, the scene in which you find out about Kratos' wife is also the scene where the Oracle gets her CGI debut. So it's like, okay.
What a lovely spot for some cliff diving later.
I'll remember this spot.
It's just like, okay, the scene where you first start to find out about Kratos' wife and daughter is also the scene where he's standing in front of this woman who's basically naked, and then grabs her by the throat and shoves her away. Okay. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel about that, and that is precisely the problem. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that. It kind of leaves me feeling nothing more or less than confused about the tone. And
we did all that climbing to get that one chest, and that's it.
Yep.
I like this giant sword here. And it's not just a random ass set piece. The sword does come back at the very end of the game as the weapon you wield against Ares, which is a nice attention to detail because it's
Loading screen.
a set piece
forgot
in
my
level
keys.
design. Oh man. I like how when Kratos hops rapidly like that, he never resets his jumping animation to the point where it actually looks like his feet touch the ground. So he's just sort of bouncing up and down on rubber toes.
He never unbent his knees.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing.
There you go. This is what I was thinking about.
Is it here that you can clip and start swimming?
Like, no.
No, that was the very beginning.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the beginning of the game when you get off of your boat.
Yeah.
I was more talking about, the camera angle is fixed to a certain angle, and I was thinking, okay, I probably got to go against it to get a secret chest, but I was looking at the top of the staircase when I meant to look at the bottom of the staircase.
Yeah.
And can I say, Kratos does have a parry maneuver. He can block attacks. You don't get a counterattack until you upgrade the Blades of Chaos, I think, to the next level.
Oh, I thought you
It
didn't.
is very-
I thought you didn't get it till God of War 2 with the fleece.
No, but that's a much better counterattack. The parry system in this game is a little wonky. It's no Onimusha.
Yeah, for certain. Although, to be fair, I think in 3D action games, parry and counter systems were a fairly new thing. In fact, Devil May Cry, which came out in the same year, dedicated an entire style to exactly that, and it is not exactly the most intuitive thing in the world. I mean, it is useful if you take the insane amount of time it requires to get good enough to use it, but it is... It's kind of unorthodox. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do the Royal Guard thing specifically in any other game. Because Dante blocks, with Royal Guard to lessen damage. However, if you block at like a frame perfect timing, you can get rid of all the damage and charge up a meter. And then you can use a release attack to basically do a palm thrust Wesker style into the enemy. And it really is a Wesker style palm thrust if you have charged up your meter enough, because it does an insane amount of damage if you've charged up the meter.
But it requires frame perfect counters.
Yeah, and it's less useful in Devil May Cry 3 than it is in 4, because in Devil May Cry 4 you don't have to commit to having Royal Guard as your only style action for the entire goddamn mission. If you decide you want to try using it, you can just switch to it whenever the hell you damn well please. In Devil May Cry 3 you were basically stuck with whatever style you picked until you either finished the mission or got to an item shop.
Blocking and countering attacks with the Isin maneuver in Onimusha is, to this day, is still one of the most satisfying things you can do.
Yeah.
With a combat system like that.
Well, a good parry and counter system is a reward in itself. It is really good in Metal Gear Rising as well. Although that game kind of forced you to get good at it. So.
Oh yeah, because it didn't really have a block button. Or a dodge maneuver. You had to. There was, but it was like
it was a sidestep and slash, which is a really fucking unorthodox thing. Which is interesting because you'd think a ninja would be evasive rather than defensive. I'm really confused by that design choice. I'm not gonna lie.
There's ninjas in this Raiden.
Well,
Raiden is super ninja.
Well, Raiden does actually fight evasively when he appears in Metal Gear Solid 4, so
yeah.
Even within the context of Metal Gear, that decision is fucking confusing. It's not a bad decision.
Fighting,
it works
I just
well.
Thought it was dancing. Because you can't tell me that fight scene with Vamp is fighting. That's dancing with swords.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of jarring too, because like every other action scene, except for Twin Snakes, which was directed by different people, every other action scene in the series, as far as cutscenes go, has really weird people, but Snake sticks to very down to earth movements when he fights, which is part of his charm. He's kind of like the ordinary guy fighting these superhuman freaks. But yeah.
Now here's him charging at Rex.
That's kind of why people give Twin Snakes a hard time, is because it loses that charm of Snake being the ordinary guy fighting a bunch of freaks. But yeah.
I thought Twin Snakes was generally considered to be a pretty good port.
It's a good game, yeah.
It's a good game. People give its cutscenes crap because Solid Snake basically acts like Dante, right up to the point where he jumps off of a fucking missile in order to get a good shot with his rocket launcher at a helicopter. It gets very, very gratuitous in
his first line of action when the Metal Gear Rex activates is him to charge the whole thing head on. It's like, the fuck are you doing?
He sprints at it, jumps high into the air, and does a flying kick into its giant metal leg, and of course bounces off like nothing happened, because of course nothing happened. He's a peon trying to fight a giant metal robot. But yeah, the tone of Twin Snakes is very weird compared to the other Metal Gear games, and a lot of people were turned off by that.
Okay.
Loading screen.
Another spiral staircase. Huzzah. At least the stairs are rendered as actual stairs, which for some reason Mass Effect 1 didn't do. I mean, we're commentating over that now. It probably won't come out for a good long while after this goes up, but the stairs in Mass Effect 1's prefab colony buildings are a flat texture ramp that's painted to look like stairs, rather than...
Well, it's handicap accessible.
Yeah, rather than, an actual set of 3D modeled steps, which is what this is.
Oh, thank God. Oh, there he is.
Ares, okay, it's not fair if you just jump, if you just do a cannonball into Helm's Deep. You have to let them actually fight the orcs.
Oh, it took them all day to climb a one mountain.
This running past a scene where you can see a battle going on way down in the distance, that's just sort of a texture, really reminds me, especially with the fixed camera angles, it really reminds me of the Lord of the Rings movie-based games on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, we're missing helicopter shots.
Yeah, the
Oh, sorry guys, an error occurred. Got signed out of the PSN. I gotta end the part right here. So I'm gonna.
Always online
Hey, go ahead.
DRM is gonna ruin BrainScratch commentaries.